Hello there, coming to you just briefly. I'm very tired when I'm recording this, so if I don't sound super enthusiastic, that's why. But I've just gotten back from watching Suicide Squad, and I've noticed there's this schism again between fans and critics. I will say that if you're interested in the movie, go see it and form your own opinion. I think you should always go in and just form your own opinion. And I can see why critics might not like this movie, but fans might love it. And I'll get to that in a moment. Suicide Squad was one of the most anticipated movies of the year for me. It is, of course, the continuation of the DC Extended Universe. This stars Will Smith as Deadshot, as the most prominent character in the movie, probably. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, of course. We've got Jared Leto in a new incarnation of the Joker. Essentially about a group of metahumans with special abilities, all criminals, all bad guys. They are recruited right out of jail by Amanda Waller, a government official, to carry out the government's dirty work. Essentially, they send them on missions that humans can't handle. For instance, if there's a new Superman who's a bad guy, or someone with that amount of powers, what are they going to do? They can't send the military, so they send these guys. And the reason they're called the Suicide Squad is, of course, because they have a little data chip implanted in their neck, which they can blow up with the press of a button. So if they disobey, or they try to escape, or they, do something wrong, or kill the wrong person, or something like that, it's bye-bye. They're dead. And also they send them on these impossible missions, essentially. So they might not come out alive. I'm just gonna go out and say that I love this movie. I fucking loved Suicide Squad. I think this is DC's first full home run. Like, this movie achieved everything I wanted it to do, and it was exactly like the trailers. Like, when I saw the trailers, I imagined this would be an irreverent, fun, crazy, wild, colorful action popcorn movie, or comic book popcorn movie, and that's exactly what this is. It just kicks off straight away. There's no again, this is, now we're getting into it, this is why critics might hate this movie. There's no real build-up, there's no dramatic, there's no foreplay, there's really not a lot like that. You get like an introduction to the characters, which is very fun and a lot of very cool, just very action-packed and colorful. I love that. But essentially, that kicks off from the word go, and you're strapped in, and it's a popcorn comic book blockbuster. It has character moments and it has dramatic scenes which really work as well. I thought they were very nicely handled. These are real people underneath. They're not monsters. They're disturbed and crazy, but they're not total monsters either. So that was very nice. But the main focus of this movie is just action, comedy, a lot of jokes in this movie. It is packed with comedy and jokes. All over the place, but they really worked well because they serve the characters really well, they understand the characters well, and my audience had a blast. I was laughing a lot. It was great. I was really nervous about Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, when she really be able to pull it off, and she pulls off the character of Harley Quinn perfectly, in my opinion. She does it very well. And there are little Harley Quinn nods to all you hardcore fans in there as well, which I won't get into. But really, Deadshot was kind of the focus of the movie, so to speak. He's sort of the main character. Him and Rick Flag sort of butt heads a lot, and it's no surprise because Will Smith is the megastar of the movie. Jared Leto's Joker was very interesting as well. I'd say he sort of pops in and out of the movie. He's not part of the actual squad, but the movie moves around a lot in time. There are a lot of flashbacks, a lot of colorful sequences where you see different characters. Not a lot of dream sequences in this one, which is good, but there are a lot of flashbacks and there are a lot of, montages. And it's a very sort of music video movie. It's very colorful. There's a lot of music in this movie. I mean, almost non-stop music. I'm talking classic rock songs, hip hop songs, stuff like that. So if you don't like that, that's too bad, but it's that kind of movie. A total full-on action comedy blockbuster comic book movie. It might be the most comic book movie I've ever seen, because it has these wild neon colors, these graphics on screen, and it's just it almost just needed sound bubbles that would have made the whole thing complete. But I love that it totally embraces what it is. It's completely absurd, wild, just a fucking crazy, phenomenal action comedy ride, like a roller coaster from start to finish. And that's exactly what I wanted out of this movie. It's not going to be what everyone's going to want out of the movie, and some people are going to be really disappointed. If you want this to be like Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight or something like that, or, you know, have a really deep, meaningful story and slowly build up dramatic character moments, you're going to be disappointed for sure. And I think that's what most of the critics are attacking this movie for. They're just not. They just can't let a comic book movie be a comic book movie. You can't just let it be a fun fucking summer popcorn blockbuster. They have to tear it down, of course. But when Mad Max came out, everyone was like, oh, what a great action masterpiece. And that is also, to me, the definition of a fucking popcorn blockbuster. But I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, what I really loved about this movie was, I mean, besides everything about it, was just the way the characters worked. The characters have this crazy chemistry. There's a lot of charm to Deadshot. He's this really cocky gun for hire. He knows exactly who he is. Harley Quinn has this playful, crazy vibe to her, which is great. A lot of jokes, a lot of craziness. I wanted to see a little bit more, perhaps from Killer Croc, but there's only so much you can do with Killer Croc. You know, he's kind of the monster, so to speak. But Rick Flag really worked too. He keeps butting heads with Deadshot, of course, because they're both cocky men. They're both sort of military men, and that really worked for me as well. A lot of humor there, just a lot of irreverent humor, and they're crazy. You know, they're full on crazy, and that's a great source for a lot of comedy and a lot of jokes. It's not. I mean, it's not. It's still an action movie. There's still a dark vibe, and I love the fact that it's very black comedy. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but there are a lot of jokes that are just like about killing people and the fact that they can kill people and they will kill people and they're insane and they hear voices and stuff like that. It was so on the nose, and I thought it was perfectly handled. I don't think I can personally imagine a much better Suicide Squad movie than this, but I think a lot of people might, you know, disagree with the style of the movie. They might not like the fact that it's heavy on montages. It's a very colorful. It's a very, very sort of modern, you know what I mean, like a modern, quick cutting, colorful, loud sort of style over substance movie. But I think that's just fine. I don't think every goddamn movie has to be Schindler's List, especially not a comic book movie. This is what I want a comic book movie to be: just fucking fun, wild, crazy, irreverent, dark, and it has this amazing chemistry between the characters, which was great. El Diablo was an amazing character. Deadshot, great character. All the characters actually kind of have this tragic undercurrent to them. I don't want to go into, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to go into it too much, but the movie interjects these character moments, these character beats that kind of like, you kind of stop. Like, there's this action, and just fun and comedy, and you're on board, and then all of a sudden it's like you realize these are people. They have emotions, they have goals, they have dreams, and now they have a chance to do some good for once. So a friend of mine was he said he was very let down by Jared Leto's Joker. He's more of I describe him more as a kind of crazy pimp in this one. He's more of a crazy gangster pimp. And again, he's in the movie for a few scenes, not like throughout the entire thing. But I kind of liked his take on it. He's not Heath Ledger. He's doing a much more wild, crazy sort of, almost a sort of a stereotypical crazy, unhinged person who doesn't quite have a grasp on reality. And Harley herself has that crazy, you know, innocent, girlish, fun, mad, schizophrenic kind of vibe, which is a lot of fun. She has a lot of great quotes and a lot of moments that I felt personally were like really like, that's Harley Quinn. That's really Harley Quinn. She doesn't do the voice necessarily. I read that her voice was based more on a character in Goodfellas, the wife in Goodfellas, I think. But that's just like, you could nitpick that all day long. I still think like she captured the vibe of the character so well that it didn't even matter to me. It just worked wonders. I think you should go see this movie. I think you should form your own opinion on this movie. But if you want this to be an action blockbuster, a fun, dark, like non-stop ride, a popcorn movie that is colorful, irreverent, just wild and nuts, then I think you'll love it. There's a lot of music in this movie. There's a lot of classic rock, a lot of hip hop. It's non-stop. It just bam, from the word go, you're just in it, and it just goes. And there's later you sort of start to realize, okay, these are actual characters. They have motivations. They have lives. They've some of them have had families and so forth. But I just love this movie. I just thought it was great. I like just the experience of this movie was so good. I was so satisfied with it. Because I go to a movie first and foremost for the experience. I want it to be entertaining. That's the main reason, and this is wildly entertaining in my opinion. I thought it was just pitch perfect. It's kind of like a fucking crazy Avengers on steroids. That's the best way I can describe this movie. If you cut out all the bullshit, essentially. So yeah, just yeah, so much fun, so much fun. Really, really DC's first kind of home run to me. And I don't mean that again. I don't mean that in like a not like a cinematic masterpiece kind of way. It's not like a big, you know, it's not going to win any Academy Awards. It's not going to be hailed as the greatest cinematic achievement ever. But it's a comic book movie, you know. They can just be fun, wild, colorful, literally neon colors, and just nuts, you know. And this is just nuts, fun, action-packed, great action choreography, just great teamwork and humor, and it just all the whole vibe was just great. It's a movie that never ever lets up. It doesn't stop. It just well, it does sort of take a break every now and again, but it's just mainly it just keeps on trucking forward, so to speak. So honestly, I'm gonna give Suicide Squad a really rare distinction. I'm gonna give it a full 5 stars out of 5, a full 100%. I think I'm gonna start using a percentage. And honestly, there was not a lot of there maybe a few details here and there, just choices in the movie that were like, all right, you might want to change that up, or like just a few things that we've seen before. But it was just the experience as a whole was so fantastic. It was everything that I wanted. And there are some very nice nods to DC Extended Universe fans, which I won't get into, but you want to stay tuned for a mid-credit scene. There's nothing after the end credits, but there's a mid-credit scene that you don't want to miss. So, Suicide Squad, my final thoughts is I personally loved it. I thought it was great, so wildly entertaining, everything I wanted out of a crazy wild summer comic book movie. But I would still advise everyone to just go in and watch the movie and review it subjectively. Review it based on your core gut feeling. How did I feel about this movie? Only you can say how you feel about a movie. Don't pay attention to reviews or friends or peer pressure. Don't compare or overanalyze or just go watch the movie. Go watch the movie, have fun, and see what you think. That's what really matters, in my opinion. This particular reviewer is delighted. This was just everything I wanted. And honestly, I think this is my favorite movie of the year so far. I had a really good feeling that like this might be great. This could be everything I wanted, but it's so rare that a movie fulfills everything you want out of like that experience. And this experience was wild. I'm still like reeling from it. So anyway, that's my review for Suicide Squad. I'm gonna give it a full 5 stars out of 5. I don't take that lightly. It doesn't happen much, but it does happen. And this is without question one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. One of the best. We'll just put it at that, okay? All right, have a really good night, and I will catch you soon with a lot of cool things. There's actually a lot of DC related things coming, so if you like that stuff, stay tuned.